Hello and welcome to Show and Sell, the show that celebrates digging through other people's trash. Hello, I'm Chris. The show is Show and Sell. I am the trash dragon of the West. This is my guitar, Mr. Blankenship.
Hello, Mr. Blankenship.
Well, this is like, oh, sorry.
Did it. So we.
Curse
No,
at
that's a
me?
good point, Mister. I sell media on eBay and Discogs.
I'm pretty sure that Mr. Blankenship just cursed at me, but that's fine.
He's like, oh, Fudge Town. He uses those kind of curse words.
I have my eye on you, Mr. Blankenship. My name is Katie, and I'm the trash dragon of the South, and I sell clothing and accessories, and I shop for anything sparkly, beaded, unique, and kind of weird.
And I'm Joe. I'm the trash dragon of the East. 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 And I like to sell this little dog for $17 million.
Sold.
All right. I will take a check. Personal out of state is totally fine.
Great.
Just seems like it's going to go well. So,
Actually,
what do you?
What do you sell?
What do you actually sell?
A little bit of everything and a lot of some things. If there's like a big box of crayons, like 700 unorganized crayons, I'm like, oh, that sounds intriguing, and so I'll buy that if the price is
right. That's how. What is the right price for a box of unorganized crayons?
$5.
Yeah. Wow. Both of you said the exact same thing. That's amazing.
We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, exactly. And you've been both married the same amount of time. So
I know.
That's wild.
Twins.
So if you want to see a couple episodes back, they talked about that. Anyway, so unless there's anything else we need to talk about, we're going to go to the first segment of the thing that brought us joy. That brought you joy. What brought me joy this week? So actually, this is a shirt I found. It's going to our mutual friend, Rami. I've offered her a couple shirts, but she's never taken one. This is a Misfits shirt.
Oh, yeah, it's the one.
It's a tour shirt from their 1988 tour. I think this is a repro. Like, I don't think
it's a repro.
Yeah,
I was going to say, if it's a repro,
it's got so there's no way this is from 1988 because it has the printed.
And also, you wouldn't be giving it away if it was. Sorry.
I
can buy it from you.
I didn't want to say it, but
it's true.
But yeah, no, it's not untrue. But I found this at the. I'm sorry.
Weren't they broken up at 1988? I thought they were they broke up, and then Danzig started.
You are thinking of the wrong Misfits. This is the Misfits from Gem and the Hologram.
Oh, I see.
It's Gem. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, Gem and the Holograms, Misfits, and Pizzazz.
Wow.
I think is the name of the singer.
Pizzazz.
Is my face red?
Yeah, it should be.
Had a touring act, though. I think the bass player from Luna was in the touring Misfits.
She was the voice of Gem. The singing voice of Gem for the show. Britta, who I'm friends with. I've only met her once. I think we both met her at the same time when our mutual friend Stephen Thompson at a bar in the Lower East Side with David Cross, the owner of Matador Records. You, me, the guy from and Stephen Thompson, who was the AV Club editor or recently departed, and at one point in the evening, he just stops and goes, "Excuse me, everyone, I've got something to say. This woman was the singing voice of Gem and the Holograms." Just it was just information he couldn't process. He had to share it.
He couldn't keep it in.
Yeah, he couldn't keep it in. It was just
the correct way to announce that.
Joe, why don't you go?
Okay. Yesterday, or I should say rather earlier. It wasn't yesterday. I was helping somebody move in the city. Well, I wasn't helping them move. I was helping them buy the content, like pack up the contents of an apartment they had bought from a deceased
Got it.
artist, and they kind of just said, "Hey, why don't you deal with the art supplies? We'll give you the art supplies, and you can share the proceeds." I'm like, great. I didn't really like to do that because I am a terrible accountant, and keeping track of that stuff makes me crazy. But
Are you the terrible accountant?
yes, I love office supplies, so I love office supplies, and I also love art supplies. So I really just wanted to see what he had. So this gives me a chance to take a look at everything. And one of the things that I'm gonna set aside for myself was this lovely moleskin notebook, and it's mostly unused. Mostly, except at the very beginning, where he.
Is it a poem?
No, it is this.
Oh wow!
I can't read it because it's in reverse on my monitor. So if you want to take a crack at it,
mistakes, motor book.
I'll read it. I don't need your judgment, bozo. I'm somebody else. And then there's a center spread as well.
It's a lot more erotic.
Big little like thing about how Christianity has been subverted. Fine. I was 18 once as well. And there's this, which I really like a lot. The center spread.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's very mid-century modern kind of house.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. I don't need your judgment, bozo.
There's also this thing that has like a neck face tribute, like long neck, and it says neck face on the long neck. So I'm just like,
it's a New Yorker for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I got that brought me joy. Katie, what about you?
I have a lot of questions about that notebook.
Okay.
Yeah. Before, have we talked about neck face before? Joe, would you like to just kind of
talk a little bit about neck face? Neck face was a tagger in like the early mid 2000s. No, probably like the mid 2000s, I would say.
Okay.
His tag was always like his tags were like kind of grotesque monsters and always had neck face, which is kind of a good it's a good memorable tag.
It's sticky.
It's sticky longer than other tags. I have no idea what happened to him. Like he fell off the face of the earth. Like he stopped tagging. He did some gallery shows, and then that was it. And then he kind of disappeared forever.
The answer is prison.
Okay. We should. I know someone who might know. Our friend Nick.
If it's prison. Nick, was it prison? Okay. Question. I hope. I don't know. I hope he's well. I wonder why he fell off the face of the earth.
Sometimes people find themselves in prison. It can be the best thing.
I like that. My item of joy is we recently talked about barware, and so I'm slipping this in here because there's one important item of barware that I forgot to bring up when we discussed barware, and that is carnival glass. I'm obsessed with carnival glass, which is hysterical because I'm not a bright color person.
Good.
But I find myself drawn to it every time I see it. I just really like it because it's super iridescent.
And those are grape leaves?
These are grape leaves. So I have two. Oh, good job. I have two glasses here. And these are the blue iridescent. They also have coral iridescent. It's like an orange iridescent. I've seen it done in a bunch of different things. It's just like if you do like the mercury glass where it's that sort of sheen, that polish over a colored glass.
Right.
But I love carnival glass items.
What? So why is it called carnival glass?
Because it's a party.
Yeah! Wow! Party!
Party time.
Apparently, carnival glass, and it does sort of make you do that. Carnival glass is the coating that's on the glass that I keep talking about, that shiny iridescent coating that is also referred to as oil slick because it's like a rainbow coating. That the iridescent, it's really hard to capture on camera. Right. It goes from sort of blue, green to amber. But it's the coating put on colored glass. So it can do it on any colored glass. That I just happen to only have the blue ones. But the ones that I love that I've seen, the red and the coral is really special because oil slick over that kind of color, over a really warm color instead of a blue color, leaves this like, over a cool color it lends itself to it, but over a warm color it gives it. It's just kind of wild. It's wild. It's a party.
Yeah,
It's
it's a party.
It's
Hey!
fun. Yeah.
All right, we are moving on to the next segment, which is Unearthed Treasure.
Unearthed Treasure.
We are back with Unearthed Treasure. Our theme this time is DIY. Do it yourself. A little bit, maybe a little bit punk rock, maybe a little bit homemade, maybe a thing that shouldn't exist but does because you created it. Katie, why don't you go?
This was hard to choose. I do a lot of DIY, a lot myself. I also am sort of partial to DIY when out thrifting.
Mhm.
I do like DIY. I've made a lot of weird clothes. I've made a lot of things. So what I brought today are two things. I brought one DIY that I purchased and then one DIY that I literally made 2 days ago because I am look, I saw this thing on Etsy. It's a jewelry cabinet that hangs on your wall. I think I've talked about it before, and it's a box. Like, it would look like about this size, and it has 2 doors like a church, and it opens, and inside you can hang all of your jewelry items.
There's all the
was
people.
vintage. It was so cool. And it was $350 on Etsy. And I was like, well, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And they sell jewelry hangers everywhere on Amazon or whatever. But I just refused because I had that one in my head. And I was like, forget it. I'm just going to make something for now that I can do. And so I found these 3 coat rack hooks. And what I have made is this little guy to hang my jewelry on. These are little hands. They're little tiny child hands. I spray painted them gold. I painted the jewelry hanger. This had just 3 coat hooks on it, and then I made it. So I'm very
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I'm very happy with myself because I think it'll be perfect because each little finger you can hang.
I was thinking that. I was like, you have 5
Mm-hmm.
5 things to hang on. That's amazing.
So these will now be for sale on Etsy for $99.99. That feels high. But
people let people bargain you down to $94.99.
Etsy doesn't bargain. On eBay. eBay they can bargain me down. But anyways, it turned out pretty well, so I'm very excited about it.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And then this is the thing. I have many, but this is the first thing I thought of, so I thought I would go with it. This is a very divisive piece in my house because it tends to scare people, but I kind of love him. Here he is.
Whoa. Oh, man. Whoa. Shut up.
He looks like James Bond if he was a fox. Or a wolf, rather.
It's a wolf.
He's a fox in a suit. He's doing good. Or a wolf. I have put glass glitter on him, so when he turns to the side in his little beard, he shines. Because I really like glass glitter because it tarnishes over time. So I get very into things with glass glitter on them. He's a handsome gentleman, and
he's been through some stuff. He's got that eye scar that is just like, I've kind of been in a battle, and I came out victorious.
He has seen some financial shiz.
He might be struggling with some addiction issues. We're not sure. I think he's been through it. Just based on, he's trying to get there in his life, and he's trying to make a go of it at Chase.
The septum in his nose is only a millimeter too thick. He's just
got
blew it out with nose candy.
Token, and he's doing good.
He's a Wall Street gentleman.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love him, and somebody painted him, and so he can scare you if you're not expecting him, and he's hung in the wrong place. So,
right over the toilet.
I'm sort of a fan. I used to have Jack Nicholson in The Shining doing the "Here's Johnny" over my toilet. I'm a fan of the item that's a little off by the toilet.
Oh, sure.
So actually now, Chris, I think that's exactly where he might go. He's not been hung yet. You just reminded me. So yeah, he's a champion. I
love that. That is amazing.
That's my
Joe,
DIY.
what do you got?
That's my DIY. Joe, what do you got?
Okay, so I have a mandate to keep an eye out uh, for different fabrics at the bins, and because and this is something I had tried to sell, but it was it's kind of beat up, and it's a little bit like they I can tell you exactly what's wrong after I show it, but it is it's this great quilt, and it's like
Ooh.
it's a full quilt, and I tried to sell it for about a year, and I finally gave up, and I'm like, I'm just using this on my couch, and I did, and my life is so much better. Sorry, Francis M. Dirk. But the thing is, like, I don't think they did a really good job, except I think they kind of skimped on the seams. Like they didn't put enough fabric. They didn't have enough fabric overhang. So in a lot of places, let's see if I can find the good. Oh yeah, here. Well, yeah, here it's just like you can see the panels are ripping apart. So
Oh,
that's
I
why I didn't
see.
sell. I thought it would sell because like I kind of like a little battered look, but then again, I don't also pay, I don't pay a lot of money for a battered look, so that's why I like it. But this
Right.
is like, but yeah, they didn't. The fabric's a little bit thin too, so it tore. But this is the thing I really just like. I adore this. Like I use it to, I use it when I'm watching TV, cuddle up, and yeah.
It was funny that you apologized to Francis M. Dirg for like, I'm sorry, I just made you cozier for a couple of minutes.
Wait, can I ask a question? What is the price range like online for a quilt that's in great condition? What range do quilts sell for typically?
That I can't answer because there's a lot of variables that go into it, like how, like especially like how old it is, how well it's made. There's certain
Really?
quilt styles that people are very into. Like there's the
Yeah.
Amish quilt, there's like the Pennsylvania Dutch quilt. There's all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff that it's just like, I mean, and also I might be just talking out my ass about those names. Those seem familiar to me. I might be entirely wrong on those.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. I wonder, like, I think it's a whole world. We should try to find somebody who specializes in quilts to
I would
have
love
on
to.
as a guest, because I think it is a complicated thing, and I think it's like the kind of stitching probably makes a difference. I think you're right. And I don't know. I wouldn't know how you would get a quilt to last. Like if you want an old quilt, it feels like it would have some, like you said, some shabbiness to it.
Yeah, some wear.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Oh,
people people use them as like just wall decoration. A lot of times they'll put it in like
yeah.
this,
Yeah.
their fabric holders. But I like to use I like to use my quilts.
They're
So
warm.
okay,
They're
great.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
as somebody who's in a zone 7, I think my zone is 7. Yes, absolutely. I love a warm quilt.
Why don't you
What is
guys?
your item? What is your DIY, Chris?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So this is something I mentioned. This is a archaic underground press vegan cookbook. This is
What?
really DIY. So what it is like basically people who worked in the record, like record, kind of underground for um, kind of like punky, kind of indie stuff, and so there's Cynthia Connolly of Discord Records does a yummy cucumber tahini salad.
Wow.
Don Schwartz of Discord Records. Discord Records is where famously Fugazi came out of. DJ Colin Butler of Big Ass Truck does a green apple and chili chutney.
Can you do me a
Ted
favor
from
and send me
Cursive.
Can you take a picture of that of the tahini tahini salad recipe?
Yeah. Yeah. So
And it's all vegan.
yeah, everything's vegan. Everything's, and it's just like literally just photocopied, kind of classic DIY, bound together. There's like these like two little pieces of
That's
kind of
great.
plastic leathery kind of thing. I just found it at a woman's yard sale when she was moving out. I'm like, it's called Open Mouth Insert Foot, vegan recipes from the underground, and
That's
I have
great.
never found another version of this. I don't know. Oh, Kim Gordon's Lentils by Kim Gordon
Huh,
from Sonic Youth.
that's funny.
And
And
yeah.
free kitten.
And what?
Free kitten.
And oh yeah,
The
Free
band
Kitten, and Solo now. She's just released a new solo album, I think. But that is my DIY item. So
Nice.
let's move on to our last segment, which is Joe.
Our last segment is Tales from the Flypt.
Tales from the Flypt. Tales from the Flypt. The question I asked is, what's an item that the young version of you would be stoked that you have and got? I can go if you want.
The young
No.
version meaning how
like
young?
when you were like 12 or 8, or like kind of like maybe when you started thrifting.
Would be
What's an
stoked
item?
that you have.
Yeah, that you have.
Mhm.
So
I would
did you
say,
not?
oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay,
go
go
first.
ahead, Joe. Yeah.
Budget. Why not? I'm just gonna steamroll this. So the thing I have that I I mean, part of it is that when I was a kid, I don't know exactly. I mean, I know exactly where it's printed. I know exactly where I could find it. There is a in-print me saying to the local Richland Center Observer, the local newspaper in my hometown, that comic books would be my ticket to college. That I would be able to collect comic books and sell them and make money. And unfortunately, the comic books I collected were all ass. Let me just give you Joe of 1982 Joe. Let me just tell you something. You are not going to get rich collecting the Defenders. Nobody buys the
Aw.
Defenders in the future.
Wah, wah.
That said, I also think that there are also 2 twins in my hometown that would go around to the stores and get all the X-Men before everybody else did. They are villains in my book still to this day. Never met them. Everybody in Richland Center knew about them, though. Everybody in comic books knew about them. But the thing is, like, you can find now. I'm finding, like, I found it's maybe not super cheap thrifted, but I go to auctions and I find like great. I find a lot of comics that are like old and kind of beat up. They're more reader copies than collector copies. But one of them, for example, I have like a stack of like 1960s to 1980s Archies. It's probably about like a foot and a half, 2 feet.
Oh, I love that.
Hannah loves that as well, my wife.
Mhm.
And I get I'm gonna have to put Francis down for this. I mean, I'm gonna have to set him on the ground rather.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to kill him.
Thank
Francis, I love you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Here you go. So I have, but I've been getting like a lot of like, I think I'll buy like a lot of, for example, Iron Man comics, and I'm not even a huge Iron Man fan, but the idea, but for some reason, like the 12 cent, like anytime I see like a 12 cent
Price sticker? No.
price, like I'm like I gotta have it because it just like hits that like dumb collector thing with me. Even if I'm not not a huge fan of Iron Man either.
That drunk.
Then there's like some great Fantastic Fours I've picked up that are like the annual #1, and there's also Fantastic Four #49 with like a giant rip out of it, but I don't really care about the giant rip. It's just like it feels like it's been read. It feels like it's been had by a kid, and I am like the only reason I'm keeping it in these sleeves is so it doesn't get any worse, so it doesn't fall apart.
Right. So, all right, I'm gonna go if you don't mind. So
Right.
this is this is kind of a 2-part thing. This is a when I was a kid, this was my very, very favorite book, and I didn't have it for many years and refound it while thrifting. It's not that hard to find, but it's cool that I have it. I still love it. I still reread it. It's this Dolores book of Greek myths. I used to like just sit in the library and read this. This is where I get all the knowledge I know about Greek myths mainly comes from this book.
That is funny.
And it's just like great drawings, weird stories, but it also led me to like the thing that would have really gotten me stoked because as a kid I did not realize this book existed. there's the book of Norse myths that is also by the
Oh
same
my
author.
gosh.
And it's also very cool and same kind of like this is kind of a just it. I don't have the same nostalgia for it, but I love that because I also love Norse myths
Oh,
as
that's
well.
really cool. So as a kid, you would have loved.
Oh
Yeah.
god, yeah, it would have just been like I would have been so stoked that that book existed and I had it as like, and I've got a hardcover version of this one. Katie, what did you find?
Oh, well, the funny thing is when you first asked this question, the first thing I did think about was comic books, which is funny because I used to really, but I didn't read those kind of comic books, but I read the anthology books, the Peanuts ones, the ones that are in books.
Oh, sure.
So I would say the thing that I never thought I would find that I was really, when I was 18 and I went to college, I basically bought a bunch of black clothing because I was not allowed to wear black growing up. And so it was a big deal to me. It was like sort of, it was like I had discovered fashion for the first time when I went away because it was like all the freedom of being able to dress. And I remember there was this one picture in a magazine that when I saw the picture, it was like, that's what I want to look like when I grow up. It was a picture of John Galliano and his muse. And one of his muses' name was Vanessa. And in the picture, she's wearing a black sort of ball gown type thing with a slit and then a high black boot and this denim jacket. And I'll never forget it. And I remember and like looking up that the jacket was made by someone named Helmut Lang, who I didn't know at the time who that was. Years later, I was working in a Buffalo Exchange and someone brought the jacket in.
Oh,
and
wow.
I lost my mind. And so it was like I immediately put it on hold. I bought it. It was great. I owned that jacket now. Yeah. And I was like, this is it. Come to years later, the jacket was lost. I'm not going to say it was our mutual friend, Raimi.
But it's weird that you bring her name up.
I'm not going to say it wasn't. But regardless, it's lost. It got lost. And I was really sad about it because it was the thing I always wanted. Cut to, I found it a couple years ago again. And
yes.
And so now I have it. And this is the Helmut Lang jacket. It has a very wide cuff on it. And it's not anything specific. It's just from the 90s. And that
is a big old 90s cuff. Yeah.
And this is one thing. I'm a saver. I tend to, if something's precious to me, I won't wear it. I won't keep it. I wear this a lot. This is the thing that it's like, I will wear it. But I never thought I would have it once, let alone twice. And so now
That's pretty amazing. Guys, I think we did it. I think we recorded another straight A 5-star episode.
What?
Yeah, you can't even believe it. But I think, Joe, you might have something you want to sing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, share.
Subscribe. Subscribe. All right, we did it.
Like, share, subscribe, everybody.
5 stars.
Thank you. Hold
Best
on.
episode ever.
Trash. All right, thanks a lot, everyone. Like, share, subscribe. Come back, tell a friend.
Hey, thanks for coming, everybody.
Don't you see the difference in the difference that you make from the cocks that you put to the names that you take? You got ladies and bees all giving you honey, and you whack more balls in the cover of money. You know Melissa Cherry doesn't do porn. To get funky and do the popcorn, eat your pies from China, or so they say.